All right, welcome everybody. Can everybody hear me all right? I've been having a lot of problems with my computer lately. Can I see any hands go up? See if everybody can hear me all right? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. We're good then. So this Monday night call has kind of been turned into Monday night info call as of late, opposed to Monday night sales call, which is fine. Chat earlier today, I was talking about how we can go over Iscander. I can answer any questions, and kind of go over everything about that for everybody that's dying to know. And so, if you guys have questions about that, you can start dropping them in the chat. But I was really leaving it up to the group tonight to let me know what you wanted to discuss. So, with Iscander, we're mining the first block tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 3rd, so we will be plugging in that machine. Tomorrow night's Tuesday night call with Bobby, I think, is going to be pretty exciting, which he'll bring us an update on that, and we'll know how that goes. And so here at the office, the last few days, the last 4 or 5 days, has been pretty crazy. Uh, with the response and everything that we've had. So this is something that has always been part of the plan. Phase 3 has always been part of the plan for a long time now. I know when I got involved in TEXIT Coin, it was long before we were ever trading on an exchange. I was part of the Founders Club for TEXIT Coin, and I'm pretty excited about being the Founders Club for Iscander. Again, because we know that we're starting off with Iscander about 10 times, 20 times, 100 times ahead of where we're at with TexitCoin when TexitCoin started. And so there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of information pushed out there and a lot of different things I've already seen being pushed out there that hasn't been quite accurate. And so, um, so that Jerry just says the chat is just fix that, but the Q&A is not, so you can be able to I'll be able to see that. Internet keeps freezing. Sorry, Jerry, the internet here. I'm at the office. We're supposed to be amazing internet. Um, sometimes it doesn't work that amazing. So bear with me. I'll try to go slow. Hopefully it keeps up. So, but yeah, so a couple things. Like I said, this has always been a part of the plan. This is phase 3, a part of the Texit Coin plan and Texit Coin rise to the top, right? To the top 5, top 10 crypto project that we want to be. What Iscander does, it gives us a couple different things. One, it gives us global redundancy, right? We've all been talking about that. We've heard of that, where we have two mines in 2 different locations without costing us our coins in TexitCoin or anybody in Iscander, right? Without them costing any of their coins. Thaddeus says, "Are you recording?" I am probably not at the moment, but we will change that. So let me see here. Record.
Recording in progress.
There we go. Thank you for that, Thaddeus. And so a couple things that are going to be a little bit different with Iscander that we know of as of right now. Everybody's dying to know about the comp plan. And the comp plan is going to be more of an MLM base. However, to your surprise, the comp plan is going to be very, very similar to TexitCoin. It's going to be 3 left, 3 right, $1,000. 6 right, 6 left, $1,000. 9 right, 9 left, 3. All that is pretty similar to what we have now. And so it's one thing that Bobby had told us is, the comp plan was pretty successful and the comp plan was pretty great. To begin with, we just had too many loopholes, right? And so we believe now with TexitCoin that we've closed off a lot of those loopholes. to the point to where we can keep this comp plan healthy. And so after last week's numbers as well, we were below 50%. And, we believe that we're back on track and in the healthy version of this comp plan that can now be sustainable and successful. And so with Iskander, we're not capping you at 9 left, 9 right. We're expanding that to go all the way to much further territory to where people can make more money. And so what ends up keeping that successful is and not allowing it to get beyond that 50% is the fact that people are only going to be able to work one tracking center. That was one thing that we realized with the TEXIT Coin comp plan is when we open it up and allow people to upgrade to 9 and get those two extra tracking centers, what happened would people would abandon their main team. And then they'd work this spot down here and this spot down here, and they'd be trying to build out 3 teams simultaneously. And it inevitably wasn't great for the longevity of our comp plan. And so one of our big things is getting down to where we, are able to help have people focus on one tracking center, right? One team, and be more successful building out one team opposed to halfway successful building out 3 teams. On commission centers or business centers is we're going away with that. Now with these higher commission caps and these higher, I see where I'm getting unstable network now. I'll try to slow down, to let the internet catch up. But what we're doing is, with these higher commission levels, is there's going to be more of a multi-level marketing aspect to it, where there's going to be ranks and requirements that have to be met in order to step up to the higher and higher commission levels. And so it's definitely going to be achievable. It's definitely something that's been achievable for a lot of us in TEXIT Coin already. So I think a lot of us will get there. But it's just going to be more of an MLM aspect, and it's really not going to be too different from TEXIT Coin at all. And, this being a brand new coin, people getting in early and around it, even past our April 29th launch day. And so we're looking at avenues of getting on Binance with Iscander Coin almost day one. We've been talking, Bobby's been talking with his reps with Bitmart, DexTrade, and all the ones. And, this new Binance program that's available for new cryptos, is looking like a very good opportunity for us to get Iskander listed on a top tier number 1 exchange, Binance, right out of the gate. And we don't have all the information from that yet and what that's going to look like and stuff like that. But being able to put something on the top tier number 1 exchange out there is pretty. And as the foundation is going to rise with all these other coins. And the Iskander is not the only one we're going to do in the future. We're going to roll out 3, 4, 5, whatever those are, wherever those are. The 500 mega hash mine, all working together for full global redundancy, is still the plan, and that will happen eventually. So this isn't going to be the only 2. There will be more. And so don't let that scare you. Don't let the whole MLM, thing scare you if you're not a professional networker or in that space, which I'm not. But it's still going to be very easy for us to make 1, 2, 3K a week with Iskander, just like what we did with TEXIT Coin. And then as we're entering both and we're selling both, make 3K a week on Iskander or 3K a week on TEXIT Coin and make a little bit of commissions on the other one, to where it's going to open it up to make 6K a week pretty easy for most people. Most people, average people like me, that's not a professional networker. The door is still there. The opportunity is still there to make really, really incredible money every single week. And so as everybody has seen, the price of TEXIT Coin has soared over the last couple of days. To a large part of us taking in TexitCoin Coin at $1 and allowing people to buy that back at $1, and then also with Nelson and Lonnie's Armadillo Army bot army. Those two things in conjunction has really helped our market, and so I think we'll see some great things from that as well here in the future. But it's strange. I think you guys are really going to see us go back to the beginning, middle of last year when TexitCoin was on fire, and people were just throwing money at us to get into TexitCoin. I believe those days will be upon us very soon. As soon as excuse me, as soon as our price gets back, to that $2.5, $3.5, $4 range, I think it's going to be back to the glory days, if you will, of selling TexitCoin. And so now you're going to have two products and two options. You can double commissions on both under those things. And we're going to try to, TexitCoin, some things about TexitCoin. One, is not an MLM. Bobby never wanted it to become an MLM, and it's a crowdfunded project with an affiliate program, right? And so with Iscander, the different requirements, and we're going to do something called force placement, where one person will go down this way, the next two will go this way, number 4 will go this way, 5, 6 down this way, and so on and so forth. And that was an idea thrown out by Brig, and the more and more that we talked about it and looked at it and seen the benefits and downsides of that, it really makes a lot of sense. And with this new Iscander comp plan, most people are going to be in what they call an overflow leg or a power leg, of some water fashion. And by doing force placement, everybody, no matter where you're at on the tree, whether you're at the very top or at the very bottom or in somewhere in the middle, every single person should be helped. You should, see people being below you that are placed there by anybody and everybody because of this force placement. I think it's really going to be a good deal, but also I think it's really going to encourage people that have maybe slowed down or took the foot off the gas, maybe stopped working. I think it's really going to encourage people when you see, you got 9, 18, 27, 81, a couple hundred points maybe on one side. Well, then you're going to work a little bit harder to go out there and sell that 3-pack or go sell that 9-pack so you can get a little commission that week because it's there waiting for you. And I think that's where ultimately the TexitCoin comp plan failed us, is when we opened it up and people started working multiple different tracking centers and multiple different teams. People got abandoned, right? People were giving up their sponsorships and putting people under, their cousin, their niece, their nephew, just so those spots would hit commission. And they'd end up stranding people, and then people feel like they've got no help, or it's just daunting to think about having to go find 6 people right out of the gate just to make your first commission, 3 left, 3 right. And so I really think with this new plan with Iscander, I think it's going to be beneficial to everybody that's a part of it, based on that force placement and based on the consolidation and everything that we're trying to do to get people kind of in more of those straight line, big team, big downlines, placements. So it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be something that you're going to have to bear with us and work and, have patience as we roll these new things out. I see the first question from Byron is Iscander wallets, when available? Give us a few weeks. We're going to have more information on when they're going to be available and stuff like that. I know that the coins haven't even been made yet, but you can think of it, it's going to work a lot like TEXIT Coin and the way TEXIT Coin is now, to where once you get your coin shipped out to you, you'll be able to go your back office, in an active wallet. It'll work something like that with the wallets, and we don't have the back office. We're playing around with the idea of integrating the TexitCoin back office. Just because of the tech, we may have to keep it on its own website on iskandercoin.com and build in a back office there. We don't know the answers 100% yet, but I've thrown the idea out there. I really like to have it integrated into our TEXIT Coin back office. We'll see if it's possible. But we haven't got into that yet. But rest assured, Bobby's been working on it. We just don't have answers for that yet. But Tim says, how about regional meetings? Trying to find out when, where, etc. Best place to find updates on these. Well, right now on the calendar, we have two. We've got this Friday, Guitar Sanctuary here in McKinney. And then Tampa, and that's all we've got on the places. But we don't have anything nailed down. It's hard to put anything out there in case that plan changes. So that's the only two that we have finalized, set in stone at the moment. But we are going to be doing more of them, especially when we get past this first initial few days with Iscander and that thing gets going, to where we can now focus back on our regional meetings. We'll get more of those on the calendar. We will keep you updated. We'll be dropping this stuff in Telegram. We'll have it on our calendar page on the website. There's going to be multiple different areas so you can keep up with and when we get these regional meetings on the calendar. And so rest assured, if you pay any attention at all to Telegram, there'll be a lot of people dropping stuff in that they make and different stuff like that so they can get their people to these meetings. And so that's a great question. Donna says, when it opens up on the 4th, can we use our TXC to purchase for 100 mega hash or just for founder positions? No, Donna, when we open this up, guys, on the 4th, and you don't have to buy a 27K founder spot, even if you want to come in with 995 or more, you're still going to be able to use your TXC. And your TXC, as of right now, is still going to be 1-to-1, $1. Okay. That's always subject to change moving forward. But at this time, that's the way it is. And that's the way it will be probably on the 4th. But going forward, as soon as our market moves up to $1, $25, $1.50, $2, nobody's going to want to use TexitCoin Coin valued at $1. Right? So we'll end up changing that. Just have to see how that goes. But as of right now, you're still getting 1-to-1, right? $1, one coin. Tim says the most recent TXC comp plan video shows 500 commission potential per seat instead of 1,000. Do we have an update? Appreciate feeding these questions. Yeah, so that does not exist. We're not doing $500 commission potential when you sign up. It's still 1,000. That might have been talked about. It might have been an idea that was thrown out there. But right now, and as of now going forward, it's still 1,000 commission potential for one sign up seat, right? One person comes in, buys a seat, you sign them up, you're going to get $1,000 added to your commission potential. And so right now, I think our comp plan, I think Bobby's very happy with the comp plan. And the last updates was that you have to have a sign up in the last 30 days. Bobby's pretty happy with it. I think it's pretty well set in stone that this is what we got going forward. And it's really not changed. There's not a whole lot of requirements other than the one thing I need to check on is the 90 days, 3 signups in the last 90 days. Because I think with having one sign up every 30 days, there's no reason to continue the 90 days, rolling 90-day signups. I'll have to double check on that, and guys can get you an official answer ASAP. But going on from now, when you're required to have a sign up with every 30 days anyway, I don't think that 90-day rolling is going to be something that matters. But I'll find out and let you know. But our comp plan, with TexitCoin, it's still pretty simple for somebody to make their money back. They come in, they get their 1-2 free, and then as soon as they sign up their next person, their sides, then that third person that they sign up are going to get a commission. And if they've got 3 and 3, they come in with 1,000. It's still very simple for them to earn $1,000 and get their money back. And so it really hasn't changed a whole lot. And so there's just certain requirements where we get rid of, the inactive people. So we're not continually to pay out money to people that haven't been doing the work. And so we hope you guys can see that. It makes it better for all of us as long as this comp plan is healthy, because we all still want to work that. Edward says, what is the utility of the Iskander coin? That's a great question. We've been asked this a lot. Like, are they going to have downtown digital dollars? Well, no, they're probably not going to do downtown digital dollars. However, if they want to make their own community currency or their own, UAE, then they're going to have that ability. What we've determined, or what Bobby has told us, is the utility of Iskander is going to be the utility that the region wants. Okay. They're going to have their own permissioned, private, blockchain, decentralized network throughout the Eastern Europe, Middle East area. And they can use that for what they want ultimately. Now, are we going to suggest or maybe build some things on that shows them exactly what you can do? Possibly. I mean, we have Downtown Digital here that's running on the TEXIT Coin network. Excuse me. And as soon as we have some data that we can go and we can show the people exactly what this is and how this works, then that's maybe something that they use as well. However, there's a lot of different things in of a layer one, right? And the goal is always to bring honest money to the world. So yeah, the utility is going to be somewhat similar to what we do in TEXIT Coin and what we do with TEXIT Coin. But ultimately, it's going to be up to the people of the region on what they want to do with it. And so the answer of what is the utility, that's basically it. It's going to be up to the people of the region, but there's always going to be an option to use it for honest money, right? Honest money is what we're bringing to the world. Same thing that we're doing with TEXIT Coin. Ray says, if we can get a new coin listed on Binance, why can't we get TXC listed there? Well, we're doing it through, and that's a great question. We're doing it through the Binance Alpha program, which is only allowed through new cryptos. And so there's a couple requirements that they require. And this is top tier, tier one exchange. Now, why couldn't we do this with TEXIT Coin? Well, back in the early days of TEXIT Coin, right now we can't because the Binance Alpha program is only allowed for new cryptos, and TXC doesn't qualify for that. Also, back in the day with early TEXIT Coin and being in the United States, the regulations here were a little bit odd. They're a little bit gray. They're a little bit different. Over in Dubai and the UAE, the laws and the regulations is set in stone. And so Iskander is going to be a fully regulated, above the law crypto, vetted crypto. And that's one reason why we can get it on the Binance Alpha program to really qualify for that. And so, in the future, that's what I asked Bobby, is in the future, can we build out this relationship to possibly get TXC on Binance? And yeah, in the future, that's possibly the case. But right now, we can't throw TXC on there because, one, it doesn't qualify for the Binance Alpha program. But yeah, ultimately, our backdoor goal is to establish a relationship, do really well with Iskander, to where then we can talk to our Binance reps and hopefully one day get TEXIT Coin on there. That would be, amazing to pull off. And I think that we could do it if we go about it in the right way. And so the first mission or first job with this Binance thing right now is to do a good job, present them Iskander, and pull that off first. Then we have that relationship we can move on going forward. Binance has so that means we have to take 3% of the coins, and we from the first block. And so what's going to happen, let's say we get to April 29th and we don't pull off Binance and that deal ends up fizzling out and going away, that 3% that was escrowed will then get paid back to the miners in their appropriate portions. We've already thought about that. We've already got a plan for that. And so they also require $400,000 up front too. So no big deal. We're going to be able to make that work. But it's a really big deal getting on the number one exchange, crypto exchange in the world. The other thing with Iscander that's a little bit different from TEXIT Coin is TexitCoin Coin, we have a strict no-win for many reasons. With Iscander, since Iscander and over in Dubai, crypto's over there, it's a regular thing. For the influencer crowd, and everything's set in stone, and we're going to have all that regulation stuff behind Iscander. The influencer thing is a must, and so we will have influencers. We will have certain things. That'll be some of the marketing strategy is we will actually have paid influencers for Iscander project. And again, when everybody learns about Iscander, when the world hears about that and they learn about Iscander, they're going to go where to come from, right? And they're always going to come back to seeing TexitCoin, US, Texas based as well. So that's going to be a good thing for us. But also I think it's going to be a big thing to have April 29th. And if we can get launched on Binance, I think we're in store for some very, very good things. Joe says, when is the first week commission will run and calculated? Well, if you heard on the, I think, Ranger call last week, Bobby said we would try to run commission the first week of February 5th. Okay. Iscander weeks are going to be a little bit different. We're going to end an Iscander comp plan week on Thursdays, 6 p.m. or midnight UTC. Crypto, we always go off of UTC, but it turns out to be 6 p.m. Central Time. And on Thursdays is going to be the end of those weeks. Now, are we really going to be able to run commissions this Thursday by 6 p.m.? I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm going to switch over. I got people texting me telling me that might work better than the internet that I'm on right now. So give me 1 second. If we don't run commissions this first week, which Bobby said we would, so I think that's the goal and that's what we're going to try to do. If we don't, we should be able to run it the following week, the 12th. Okay. So either this week or next week, we should be able to get up and going, no problem. He may have more info coming tomorrow. Haven't talked to him today. None of us have. He was pretty busy today, and so we didn't even get together. But rest assured, I'm guessing tomorrow night we will know a little bit more about commissions and when that is going to start. Again, he said the first week, but it may be next week. We'll find out. Okay. Going to hotspot's not working. So at the latest, Joe, it'd be the next week of the 12th, but we'll find out. Marcelo says, how many miners have we so far? I don't really know. We can't really keep up with it because it's coming in on the website and then to all of us personally. We've got people coming at us in all angles. And so as of right now, a couple hundred is my best guess. But we'll find out by, we'll know the first thing tonight and then first thing tomorrow, exactly where we're at. Plus our cutoff is 6 p.m. tomorrow. So I thought it was 6 p.m. on the 2nd. We still have tomorrow. You guys can get people on the Founders Club and in Iscander tomorrow up until 6 p.m. and that'll be the cutoff for these early spots and then on the first block rewards. The reason why is because, again, commissions is always going to run at 6 p.m. or midnight UTC. So we still have, a good portion of the day tomorrow that we can still process everything and get people onboarded. And at tomorrow at 6 p.m., we will have an exact number. We will know who's in on the first payouts, right? Thaddeus says, Brig has said TexitCoinTraining.com is ready for us, but can't log in. He said posting his slides for us to access tomorrow, but can't log in. No button on the website. Tell them this. Okay. If you can, you might send a message to the R3G team or Paul, and you might be able to get some help from that. Coach Bud says, if someone comes in on the 4th for $9.95, are they still considered a founder? If so, they get the 1-2 free mining position. No. So if they're coming in on or after the 4th for less than 27K paid in full, they are not considered a founders club and they will not get the 500 mega hash. Now, the 995 spots and anything in there up to the 27, they're going to be able to buy, and they're going to get in early. They're going to get the early rewards, but they're going to be an early adopter, right? And so they won't have the 500 mega hash. They'll end up getting 100, 200, whatever we set that group at. So again, it's going to work just like TexitCoin. There's going to be groups. There's going to be things changing as the timeline goes along. And that's why it's important. These Founders Club spots are always the most beneficial. I can attest to that because I'm a founder in TexitCoin, and they are the most beneficial. But yes, coming in even on the 4th at 995, you will not have the 500 mega hash bonus or a founder spot. You will get in on early block rewards. It's still going to be lucrative for $1,000, but it won't be a founder's position. That's one of the benefits of that we let everybody come in early before this first block gets. Jay says, will we be able to use precious metals to purchase seats of Iskander? Absolutely. We love debt-free money, Jay. The way it works is you're gonna send us the metal, get the shipping info over to us. You really need to get that to Marianne or Paige in our finance department. Once we receive the metal, okay, so let's say you're sending it today. Let's say you're overnighting it and it gets it to us tomorrow. Once we get it in our hands, you get spot price for it. And so what that means is if you're a little shy because the market's extremely volatile right now, you will have to make up the difference. So it's always encouraged that you send a little bit more. If it's over, right? Let's say the market goes up and you send a little bit extra and you have more than what with TXC or USDC. We can't do ISK, we can't do Iskander because there are no coins available until we mine them out and get a market and have a market we can go buy the coins. But if you send in a little bit too much, we can reimburse you how you want with TXC or USDC. Or if you want, if you got around $1,000 extra or something like that, then we can also throw in an extra 100 mega hash or something like that, whatever you prefer. We'll work with you on that. Ray says, if our personals move to ISK, do they count as a new sign up for the 30-day requirement? 30-day. Yeah. So like if you have people on your downline and they start signing up, yeah, that you're going to have your sponsorship, your one sponsorship for your 30 days. Yep. Should be no problem there. Donnie says, when will we be able to buy Iskander Coin and what is the beginning projected price? Okay, so we've been getting that question a lot. And the truth is we don't know what that projected price or that opening price is going to be. And for many reasons, there's a lot of factors. One of them is in order to establish a market price, April 29th is when that will be established. That's our launch day. That's when we'll go live. And so April 29th, and again, if the Binance option falls through, we have other options that we can get listed on, all the exchanges that we're on with TEXIT Coin primarily, or most of them, day one, which is April 29th. But to establish a market price, one, you have to know how many coins are in circulation. Okay. You have to know how many coins are in circulation and then what the value of the project is, because the price of the coin plus how many coins are in circulation gives you a market cap. And that market cap number determines how valuable the project is. And so until April 29th, we're not really going to have any idea on what the price, what that's going to look like, how many coins are in circulation, what's the value of the project or anything like that. And so the benefit to everybody getting in now is they're going to be able to stockpile a bunch of coins and get in on the early coin production um, before we go live on an exchange and before we have that price determined. And so today, there's no way of us knowing what the beginning projected price will be until then, because it's all based on tokenomics. We can guesstimate and we can have some sort of idea, but it really means nothing until until we're sitting there that day trying to decide what the price is. And so, the tokenomics and everything, we know that it's going to be just like TEXIT Coin, where we, on average is probably around 96,000 or so coins a day. But until those coins are actually in existence, we're not going to know until that day. And so, good question. We've been asked that a lot. Doug says, with so much of the Iscander still being put together, comp plan, wallets, etc., why is it determined now was the best time to launch rather than in a few weeks when things can be ready? Why such a small window on the founder's positions? Two things combined has put as much risk as spot aside. Put in 27K. Yeah. So, a couple things on that. One, if we would have told you, hey, we're launching Iscander, and it was, if we go back to the community and said, hey, it's going to be 27K and we're going to launch Iscander on February 3rd. One, that's a lot of time. And you can rest assured that if we told the whole community that we would have had a line of people, we would have brought in the better part of 60,000 people of our community. And so one of the benefits of the people that are able to get in now with such a short window and such a high ticket price is that, one, they're getting a lot more coins. They're getting a lot bigger payout on their coin production in the early days than later when a lot more people join. And so one of the reasons why it was kept short, one, things come together kind of last minute anyway. We didn't have we had even less answers, a few weeks ago. And so as far as the tech goes with the back office and the wallets and that type of stuff, guys, that stuff is going to be fairly easy. Yeah, it may take us some time to get it all put together, but it's going to be fairly easy because it's basically going to be a copy and paste of what we've done with TEXIT Coin. So I'm not too worried about having that stuff ready to roll out fairly soon. Comp plan, we're still, we haven't finalized the comp plan. We're still working on it. Again, we've got kind of the outline, the structure put together on what that looks like. But yeah, those are things that, again, we have to release a comp plan that's right from day one, that's successful and sustainable, because the last thing we want is to come back to everybody and have to change a comp plan again. We've taken what we've learned with TEXIT Coin, and we feel like we have this thing 99% of the way there. That's going to be healthy and sustainable. But again, we want to make sure we do it right the first time, because what people don't want is for us to come back and make changes like we had to do with TEXIT Coin. When we went through those 2 or 3 weeks and it was change or this idea or that idea, and we're going to do this change or that change, it killed all of our momentum. It killed whatever we had at that time, and sales dwindled. And so with Iscander, we want to do it right the first time. And so it takes some time to work out these issues. And, every time we have these conversations about the comp plan and different things like that, I'm only looking at it and try to game the system. Where can I poke holes? Right. And so until we can put something together to where we feel that it's solid enough that it can't be, blown out of proportion, and our percentage gets up to 55, 60, 65%, which is in the red zone, and we can keep it healthy, that's when we will release the comp plan. But yeah, the foundations, the people that get in early, you've seen what we've done with TEXIT Coin. It's going to be very, very similar. There's going to be some changes, but it's going to be very, very similar, much similar than what people think. Even though it's going to be an MLM and a network marketing thing, ranks, recognitions, stuff like that, is still going to be um, very similar to TexitCoin, especially in the lower levels when you're talking about 1K, 2K, 3K a week. It's going to be very similar to TexitCoin. And so that's the one part that I like. I'm probably not going to be that guy that maxes out the comp plan all the way up to whatever that is, 25, 27K a week or something like that. However, if you guys want to hear a little secret on the comp plan, I can talk about one little thing that's in the comp plan, and that is the first person to max out all is there 9 levels to the comp plan. If whoever maxes out, the first person to max out that 9th level actually gets a 12-month lease on a Bugatti. And so that is one thing that I do know for a fact of the comp plan is the person that can max out that night, the first one, they're going to get a Bugatti lease, a 12-month lease, which is pretty awesome. And it's going to be a lot of work, but it can be done. And we know it can be. Numbers have shown it that we've seen in TEXIT Coin. We know somebody out there is going to do it. And so it's going to be a race to the top. Maybe, and it probably won't be me. I'm not that professional networker out there that's going to be able to, probably max out this comp plan, but there's going to be somebody out there that does. And my money is on not Brig. Brig's great. I think he's going to do a lot of good things. But I think that little prize at the top with the Bugatti, I think is going to wake some people up. And it may look daunting at first, but they're going to realize that what they did with TexitCoin, that they can achieve that. And I think it's going to be exciting to watch. Loretta says, wouldn't it be nice to travel and people purchase the wallet or do TXT exchange like USD or whatever their money is? Wouldn't it be nice to travel, people purchase wallet, TXT? Loretta, I'm not sure what your question is. But yeah, I'm not really sure. The founder of Ethereum doesn't design layer 2s on Ethereum. TXT is spoiled with Bobby creating layer 1 and layer 2. Lonnie, you're absolutely correct. And most founders of any project, also in crypto, guys, don't make it known what their wallet address is, and that gives it out to everybody so they can watch it and make sure that they don't sell a coin on them. The transparency and everything that Bobby's brought to this project has been absolutely amazing. And we're very lucky to have a leader and a faffle like Bobby behind this all. So it gives me great hope for the next one, the next 3 after that, and the continuation of TexitCoin. It's going to be it's going to be a fun ride. Chris says, if I go with the stretch plan, it's like 50% for payback. Does that limit me with commission payout options? Locking up the coin commission for 12 months, getting a 50% bump on those coins. Okay, so there's a lot of parts to that question. So we'll walk through it. Just to reiterate that, if you go with the stretch plan and select 50% for payback out of your future commissions, does that limit the commission payout options? Example, locking up the coin commission for 12 months or get a 50% bump in coins. Okay, so no. So it doesn't affect that. So so if you go with the stretch plan, doesn't matter what plan you're doing with the stretch, but if you go with the stretch plan and you select 50% payback, then whatever commission that you take, and let's say which there's 2 additional things with the commissions. There's a 12-month, there's a coin lock program where you can do 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. And then there's a commission hash lock where you commit to taking hash power for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. Okay. So when you decide to do 50% payback because you did the stretch, that means 50% of your commissions is going to go back to pay the stretch. Okay. So if you do the hash lock, this is the one I went over today with a Ranger. Let's say you've got $3,000 coming this week in commission. Okay. 50%, $1,500 is going to pay the stretch. $1,500. If you do the 12-month hash lock, you get 4 to 1. Okay. You get quadruple hash for that $1,500. And so what that looks like I think I know the math in my head, but I'm just making sure. Yeah, you're gonna get, so for your commissions, 1,500 of it goes back to paying the stretch. 1,500 of it that you've decided to take in hash and do the 12-month commitment in hash, you would be getting $6,000 worth of hash power upgrade, okay, or 600 mega hash. That's the way it would work in that situation. Now let's do the same thing with the coin lock, okay? So if you do the coin lock and you do the 12 months, right? The 12 months gets you a 50% bonus on those coins. All your coins get escrowed, even the ones that you pay for, right? So with the stretch program, you're putting down a third and you're stretching to the max or whatever. And if you do the coin lock program for 12 months, all of your coins are in escrow. Every one of them. At the end of 12 months, whatever you have accumulated total, you get a 50% bonus on top for committing to lock your coins for 12 months. So that means if you do the 12-month coin lock, and let's say you don't do the hash lock, you're taking your commissions out in hash 50%, right? Well, if you're taking 50% to pay the stretch, 50% of your 3K is 1,500. And if you're taking it in Iscander coin, right, ISK, all those coins are going to stay in escrow. And at the end of that 12 months, whatever you got, 50% of that is going to be added to it when you get it out of escrow. And that's the way that'll work when you're doing the stretch and you do 50% payback. You can adjust those numbers for 25% or whatever you want. I think the options are 25%, 50%, and 100% to pay back the stretch. So let me know if you have more questions on that, but I hope you understood that. Kenny says, the meeting at Guitar Sanctuary, does it need registration? If so, where can that be found? Is this a regional meeting where 3 people ball gets a mind? Yes, Kenny, yes, and yes. Guitar Sanctuary, you do need to do the registration. I believe I will ask somebody on how to get you the registration. I don't have it. If somebody here in the chat does have it, drop it in Telegram in one of our groups. Let me know so I can tell them. But yeah, you do need to register. And if you do bring 3 people that are not minors, you will get a free 100 mega hash for free. 3 people. 200 mega hash if you get 6 there, 300 mega hash if you get 9 there. Coach Bud, can we do pure payment for Iscander? I've been wrestling this with myself. Can we do pure payment for Iscander? Because I remember the days when I had big peer payments, and those were fun days. Those were very fun days. As of right now, Coach Bud, no. Now, will that change? Possibly. I need to get some answers and some clarity before I give an answer to that. But as of right now, and I'm assuming the reason you're asking because of the 5% for making it into crypto. If you're out there taking money and you're getting it into crypto and paying us with crypto, I could see where that would be a very good talking point with Bobby to get the 5% back, right? Or get the 5% discount as doing peer payments. If it's not going to be in crypto, I don't see why that benefits us at all. And that's my answer. So I will find out for sure. I'll make sure I get you that answer. But as long as you're taking money and you're getting it into crypto for us, and then you're sending it to us, we might be able to work with that. And so I would say get it into crypto. Kenny says the meeting is informational, workshop, sign up. Yes, Kenny, all of that. All of our regional meetings are going to be for signups, information, and if you have a new miner and they want to get engaged and they want to get started, this is a great opportunity for them to come out, hear the message again in person, and we're going to have workshop tables of getting started. What do you do when you get your coin in the mail? What do you do in the first 30 days? How do you make a list of people to call, right? How do you qualify that list? We will be going through everything. We're going to have multiple tables. We're going to have swag tables. People can buy some shirts and hoodies and hats and all the different stuff. It's going to be fun. We're going to make these regional meetings fun. It's going to be informational. There's going to be some workshop stuff included. There's definitely going to be signups. And the whole reason why we're doing these regional meetings and why you want to bring people out, one, all the bonuses for you for getting people there. But two, we're going to make it easier for you to sign these people up with packages and incentives that you can't do on your own. We're going to be doing all types of different combinations, packages, coin seats, whatever we got to do to get people signed up for TEXIT Coin. And so these meetings are going to be strictly TEXIT Coin. And so, yeah, that's the incentive. But yeah, we're going to be doing all of that. We're going to do information, workshop, sign up, the whole gambit, all in one night. Jan says, if a seat is sold for Iscander, will that or could that count towards TEXIT recruitments to remain active? No. These are two separate things. You have to still think of them as two separate things, especially with commissions and signups. They're whole entirely different. So you do have to have, the people do have to be in TEXIT Coin to even have the opportunity to get an Iscander. And that is a requirement from now until April 29th for sure. We may continue that requirement after that date. It may change after that date. But as of right now, and until going forward, April 29th, you have to be a TEXIT Coin miner to have the opportunity to get into Iscander. And so that should help sales on both sides. It should help recruitments on both sides. But your recruitments for Iscander do not go towards TEXIT Coin whatsoever. So Brandon says, if commissions aren't ran week 1, 2, etc., anyone that signs up under us from time it opens till the time starts will get points from those that sign up in the meantime. Yeah, so basically, like if we're not able to do the commissions like when Bobby originally said, which was this Thursday, and we push it to next Thursday, all the points will run and all that stuff will happen just like if it was this Thursday, right? So yeah, it's not going to be any different whether it's this Thursday or next Thursday. It'll all run the same as far as the points go and stuff. Although I will tell you that there's going to be commission, like where everybody's starting at, there's going to be a cap. And even if you got 5,000 points on one side and 10,000 on the other, you're going to be locked in at that commission level that you're at, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6K, whatever you buy in for, whatever level that buys you in at, that's where you're going to be. And so again, Bobby said we were going to try to start commissions, week 1 commissions this Thursday. Hopefully we can pull it off. I'm just saying, if it's not, you can probably expect it the next week. But either way, it'll all work the same. Robert says, being launched on Binance, will Iskander be available to held on top wallets like Tangem, Ledger, Trezor from day one? That's a good question, Robert, because now with a new project like Iskander that's fully regulated and everything in the UAE, we have the opportunity to go back to these guys at Tangem, Ledger, Trezor, and go through that yeah, right? We have another time, we have another option, or we had the option to go after them again and try to pull that off. And so it's very possible that that would be an option. We'll just have to see. And again, it's not priority number 1 right now, but I'm sure as we get down the road here a few weeks, we can probably revisit that. Irene said, what is the difference between those who sign up by tomorrow's 6 p.m. and those who buy 27s at the end of the month? Yeah, Marcelo's answered. You're going to miss out on a ton of coins. And it could be the difference between sharing 95,000 coins with a couple hundred people compared to a couple thousand people. So yeah, that's a good answer. Basically, that is going to be the only difference is you're going to miss out on the early coin productions. You come in and with the 27 pack later in the month, right now, if you pay in full with that 27, you're getting 10 free seats. Those 10 seats may or may not be there in the future. Again, if you guys can remember last year with TEXIT Coin, as we went through the new groups, it's always, we always took something away. The promotions got less and less and less. And so you can rest assured it's probably going to be very similar in this as well. Right now, 27 packs get you 10 free seats. Tomorrow, they may go to 5 free seats or 6 or whatever. We don't know, and we don't know how fast that'll happen. It's probably going to depend on how fast signups are. And maybe they will stick around until the later days of April 29th or longer. We don't know that yet. But I would tell you guys to all think about how similar this is going to be to TexitCoin. Remind you how TexitCoin went last year, and that will probably be very similar to what we see in Iscander. Are you going to show the mining operation in Dubai soon? Yeah, I would expect that by tomorrow night's call at 6 p.m. that Bobby will go over that and explain that. He might show the ASIC that he's got running over there. Again, right now until we have a lot more mega hash sold, we're only going to be running on one ASIC, mining the first block, getting the blockchain going, getting the early guys that got these 27K founder spots and up their coins, their early coin production. But by April 29th, you can be rest assured that we're going to have a full blown mine running. And right so far, we have a good idea that we're going to have. Let's say this: we have an opportunity that is pretty turnkey over there that we can install 10 million mega hash. Now, are we going to do that? We don't know for sure. There's some things that we got to look at, some details that we got to get answered, some questions before we pull the trigger on that. But it's as turnkey as, snapping our fingers and installing 10 million mega hash in a place. And the reason why it's attractive is because we can do it very quickly. There's not a whole lot of hoops to jump through like there is building our mine here in Texas with, the hoops of buying the land and building out the pads and, building out everything, the electric and everything like that we have to figure out in each one of these locations. Over there in the UAE, crypto stuff's been happening a long time over there, and they're a lot more friendly to it, to the point that there are facilities and places where you can go lease the shelf space to run ASICs, and you pay for the power and you lease it, and it's pretty turnkey. And so the reason why it's attractive is if tomorrow we could install 10 million mega hash, then you'll be able to see on the TexitCoin website. Our TEXIT Coin network goes from 5 million mega hash to 15 million mega hash because both mines are supporting each other. So it takes our overall network hash rate to 15 million mega hash. That's more than double. Let's triple what we're running on now. And so it's a very attractive option, and we're looking at all options over there. But it's not set in stone yet that that's what we're going to do, but it's a possibility. And it's very important because it's going to make TexitCoin's network look a lot better. Plus, when we're running critical applications on phase 2, more redundancy and more network power. And so it is the mining and the stuff over there in Dubai and the UAE is much more friendlier and much easier crypto stuff than what there is in the US. And so Bobby said that from day one is the US is a long time. And so over in these other parts of the world, it's much, much easier. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Shadur, when first commission will be payout? We're not sure. We're thinking we might run commissions this week, at the end of this week, Thursday. Could be the following Thursday, so could be a week or two, but it's going to be soon. John says, will we be able to trade Iscander and with TXC? Possibly, but probably not before we have a market established. Probably not before we're on an exchange. Bobby did say, though, with our relationships with all these exchanges that we're on with TexitCoin, it should be fairly easy to introduce a new trade pair, TXC and ISK. And so, yeah, that should be something that should happen fairly easily in the future once we go live. What's the advantage of being a founder? Well, founder spots are the most valuable. If you notice with TexitCoin, the guys that got in early, the guys like me with $1,000, we had most of our coins mined before, by 2025. And those founder spots are more valuable. They come with the most perks. And if you ever want to sell one in the future, they're going to bring a lot more money than other spots down the line. And so, Iskander being a founder, it's an important deal. Yeah, it's probably not going to pay out as many coins as what TEXIT Coin did in the early days. But again, that's what I'm saying is we're starting Iskander 10, 20, 100 times ahead of where, Bobby started TexitCoin. Coin. And so the early days are still very lucrative to get the most amount of coins out there because there's no coins you can go buy. You have to mine them. And in the future, when ISK is a top 100, a top 50, top 20 crypto, what would some oil sheik pay for a founder spot over there that's mining, you know, 20, 30, 40 coins a day and, making $1 million a year because the price of the coin is up there and it makes sense for the next 135 years, what's that worth? It's worth a lot of money. And so that founder spot, what would it be worth? It's going to be worth more than an early adopter spot. It's going to be worth more than a booster spot, right? Just like TexitCoin. We've already seen TexitCoin spots, Founders Club spots go for well over 100 grand. And so the founder spots are always the most lucrative. Michael says, I know the comp plan hasn't been finalized yet, but do you know if I have paid in full at 27 on left and right will be a 9K commission? I have no idea. And I don't know what you mean by 27K left, 27K right. Will there be ISK Rangers? Chris says, will there be ISK Rangers? So we have to come up with all different names because they will not be called Rangers. There will be groups, there will be ranks, there will be recognitions, there will be all of the stuff. So people that bring in their first 3 people, hit their 1, 2 free bonus is going to be called, something. And then when you get your first commission and you're in the level 1 or level 2 of the comp plan, you're going to have a title there. There's always going to be titles, right? But the leadership group, the ranger group, and all that, I'm sure we'll come up with something. It will be called something. We don't have that yet. Don't have that put together. Tim says on this, I second the request for the registration links for the regional meetings. All right, I will find that, and towards the end of this call, I will see if I can't get that dropped in Telegram so we can all grab that quickly before it gets disappeared behind or above 1 million different messages. You drop me guitars. All right. Yeah, I'll see if I can get that done here on the end of this call. Patrick says, where's the recording of the call archived? How soon is it available access after the call? Almost immediately. My guy, Doug, has these recordings posted in Telegram and on YouTube faster than I can even end this call. It's amazing. And so you can rest assured that you will find the recording of this very, very, very soon. Sure hope the next trip is to Dubai. You might be in store for a great trip. April 29th, our Founders Club spots. We're going to have spots for you in Dubai if you want to go. We don't know what it looks like yet. We don't know travel arrangements, if we're paying for something, if we're not paying for something. We don't have any of that discussed, so don't ask. But everybody that is a Founders Club spot, one of your perks is if you want to go to Dubai, we'll make sure we got a spot ready for you for token 2049, hotels, all the stuff. So I don't know what that looks like. If we're reimbursing, paying, I don't know. But that's up in the air. We'll have more info for you very, very, very soon on that. But Bobby already said founders spots. We want to take the founders to Dubai for token 2049. Brad says, how many Bitcoin would we need? How many Bitcoin would you need with crypto discounts that were just mentioned to buy a 90K to 27 stretch plan? How many Bitcoin would you need with crypto discounts? Okay, so first off, Brad, there's no crypto discounts. Okay, it's 9K, 27K. These are all even numbers. There's no discounts. What we were talking about earlier with Coach Bud was a peer payment thing, and we don't even know if we're going to do that. I don't have an answer to that right now, which I will get, and we will let everybody know hopefully by tomorrow night's call. But how many Bitcoin would you need to pay for 9K or 27K? You'll have to do the math, but I mean, those are even numbers. There's not going to be any discounts. Now, when you pay in full for the 27K, you get the 10 free seats. The 9K with the stretch, you do not receive those free seats. Okay. So it's just even numbers 9K, 27K, anything in between there is fine. Then you can stretch the rest. Gary says, so I went, agreed to not get our coins for 12 months. We will get 50%. Yeah. Okay. So Gary says, if we agree to not take our coins for 12 months and we do the 12-month coin lock, okay, you will get 50% more coins once that lock is over. And so that means whatever you have accumulated in that lock, in your account that you've accumulated over the 12 months, when that coin lock period is over, you will receive a 50% bonus on top. That is what you get. That is the benefit for doing the coin lock. Now, when you do the hash power lock, since we're on the subject, we'll talk about that. 3-month lock gets you BOGO. If you do a 6-month lock, you get Trogo, which is 3-to-1. And if you do the 12-month hash lock, you will get Quogo, quadruple, 4-to-1. Gary says, how do we know how many coins that you'll have? I think is what you mean. Through your back office and everything, you're going to be able to see exactly what you're accumulating in escrow if you do the coin lock. That's the thing with blockchain. It's all very transparent. We might be even putting them on a cold storage wallet so you can track that wallet in your app, something like that. That's an idea. We'll see, but we'll make sure that you can see and know if you're doing a coin lock or something like that. We'll make sure that you know exactly what's going on, exactly how many coins you're getting, and all of that stuff, so you won't ever have to wonder. AJ says, if you're a member, do stretch 9K, do we get points for 9 or 27? 9. You only get paid on paid points on any comp plan. Anything stretched, you will not until they're paid. Ron says, where can Iskander be traded in the U.S.? Nowhere right now. Iskander's not traded anywhere at the moment. Won't be traded until after April 29th. Jewel says, are we allowed to be 10% of the mining pool like other countries can only be 10% of TEXIT Coin? No, Iskander's a little bit different. 10% international is for TEXIT Coin. Iscander, there will be no caps. There will be no limits. We're going to allow people to sell this thing anywhere and everywhere as they please. Byron says, if a person puts 9K down and stretches the 18K over 12 months, the daily coins for the 9 mines that were purchased are not locked. Correct. Yes, correct. So the way the stretch program works, okay, this has nothing to do with the coin lock. This is just the simple stretch. Whether you buy in for 9K, 27K, 81K, and you do the stretch programs, whatever that was paid for, you will get into your possession. We'll end up dropping those, that will end up going to your wallet. Okay. Whatever that is stretched will be in escrow until the stretch is paid off, which then you'll get a code that you can enter in and you'll have those escrow coins dumped into your wallet. Okay. And so things like this can be done with smart contracts and stuff. So, you're safe. But yeah, you will only get into your possession if you're doing a stretch what you actually paid for. Now, the nice thing about the stretch, so everybody understands, if you do not pay the stretch off and you fail to pay the stretch off, there is no repercussions. You just get what you paid for. So you're really not out anything. You're not getting anything that you haven't paid for. Jan says, besides not getting the 10 extra seats in ISK with stretch payment instead of full payment, are there any other differences and benefits doing stretch versus full? Well, it's a complex math problem. But if you can imagine in the Founders Club, day one, getting, again, you pay for 9K, you stretch to 27. Okay, so now the 27 seats you have that's mining. Okay, you're getting to your account or to an escrow account the full 27K mining seats. Okay, what you get deposited to your wallet daily that's in your possession would be the 9K, what you actually paid for. Okay, but with the way that this works, that 27K, the 2700 mega hash, the extra 1800 mega hash that's mining day one, at the end of the 12 months, that 1800 mega hash accumulates, that you have 12 months to pay for, is going to be a substantial amount of coins. It's going to be a very lucrative way to get those coins, to get all those extra coins at the end of those 12 months. That you have to pay off the stretch. You have to pay 18K, but you get the coin production from day one, from mining the first block. If you're in on the first block with the 9K stretch, you just don't get all those coins in your possession. You just get what you paid for, which is the 9K, which means there's going to be double the amount of coins in escrow from day one that you can then access once your stretch is paid off. You can pay that off through future commissions. You can pay that off with TXC. You can pay that off with cash, whatever you want, in over time, slowly, or all in one lump sum payment. But it's going to be a lot of coins, and if those coins are worth a few bucks, they don't have to be worth a whole lot to be very valuable and to be well worth the investment at the end of the day. I can tell you from the early days of TEXIT Coin, if I was able to do the 9K stretch, right, or put down 1,000 and escrow $2,000 worth of mining, right, 200 mega hash. January of 2025, I wouldn't have had 80,000 coins. I would have been able to have 240,000 total, right? So it's worth it. The stretch is worth it from the daily accumulation of coins that you get in the very, very, very beginning. But giving you 12 months to pay that off is very, 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 very generous. Same thing with Bobby offering $1 TexitCoin coin out there, to pay with and buy back in the future at $1. It's very, very generous. He wants everybody to win, right? He didn't want anybody to lose in TexitCoin Coin just by spending their money just to get into Iscander. Brad says, is there a minimum order amount or commission for setting up venue on? Is there a minimum order amount or commission for setting up venue on downtown digital dollars? No, there's not, Brad. And we are not ready for people to go out there and set up venues and cities with downtown digital yet. Jay, Chic. Suggestion for ISK Rangers is Chic. I don't know if that one will go over well. Edward says, Commanders. That's a good one. Mark says, can we buy a single seat? Yes. February 4th will open up for as little as $9.95 to get involved in Iscander. Brandon says, how does hash lock work exactly? I get the bonuses, but what does it mean you lock hash? When you, Gary says, when do we have to make the decision by lock hash lock coins for additional 50%? Gary, you need to make the commitment to that ASAP, like now. Very, 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 very soon. Brandon, to answer your question, how can we do multiple locks? 3, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so how does the hash lock work and how does the coin lock work? Guys, hash lock is just for commissions. Okay, when you decide to take your commissions in only hash power for 3, 6, 12 months, you get that bonus. 3 months is BOGO. 6 months is TROGO. 12 months is QUOGO. And what that means is if you decide to take your commissions in hash power for 3 months, you get BOGO. 2 for 1. If you decide to take hash power for commissions for 6 months, you get 3 to 1. Okay? 300 hash for every 1,000 you make in commission. And when you do the 12-month hash lock, you're getting 4 to 1. So if you're out there making $3,000 a week and you're taking 12-month hash lock, you're tacking on 1,200 mega hash every week. Is that right? 3,000 a week? Yeah. Yeah. 1,200 mega hash a week in mining power. It's going to be a lot. The coin lock is something entirely different. Okay. The hash lock is for commissions. Coin lock. Coin lock means even your mine coins you're locking up. You're saying, I'm not going to sell these coins. I don't need these coins. I'm not going to touch these coins for this amount of time, which is 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. We've got people locking up their coins for 12 months. They're going to get a 50% bonus on it. That means for 12 months, they're not going to have, their coins are going to be only in escrow. They are not going to have access to them for 12 months until the lock period is up. What do 10 free seats? Richard says, what do 10 free seats simply imply? Well, you get 10 free seats, which is 1,000 mega hash of mining power when you pay the 27K in full. So 27 seats, 27K, you pay that in full, and you're actually going to wind up with 37 seats or 3,700 mega hash of mining power. That's what the 10 free seats get you. You get 20 free seats when you pay the 54K in full, and you get 50 free seats when you pay the 81K in full. And yes, it still goes on and on. If you pay the $243,000 package in full, like we've had some people do already, they get 150 free seats. Okay. So it's out there. People have done it. JR says, if you're doing the stretches, there's still a way to see how many coins that are going into the wallet to make sure we're getting coins. Absolutely. You're going to be able to see what, if you're doing the 9K stretch and you're stretching to 27, you're going to be able to see every day what that mining output looks like, on the 27 seats that you have stretched. Okay. That will be coming. Again, we're going to integrate that stuff into the back office, or you're going to be able to see the escrow where your coins are escrowed at. We'll have that all figured out. It's not going to be figured out today, tomorrow, or by Wednesday, but we will have it figured out. You will be able to see all this stuff. It is coming. Again, we don't know exactly how long it'll take us to get all that stuff put together. But again, we've already got all the tech done. We've got the app done. With TEXIT Coin, the back office with TEXIT Coin, we have all this stuff. It's just a copy and paste thing, and it's going to take a little bit of time to get it done, but it's not going to take that much time. Okay. Jeff says, I signed up the 9K stretch for 27. I did not notice a button to sign up for the coin lock. Is that choice still available? Absolutely. Make sure that you're dropping that to me in Telegram or sending in an email to support. Either one will be fine. Irene says, thanks. Ranger, Marcelo. John says, if someone that does the stretch fails to complete the stretch, will the escrow coins be redistributed to the active mining seats based on each day of escrow? Probably not to, hold on one second. Will the escrowed coins be redistributed to the active miner seats based on each day of escrow? No, they will not be. Tim says, found Tampa, but not Texas. Here's Tampa mining. Yes. We will get you. I will get you the Guitar Sanctuary one as soon as I get it. Edward says, can you upgrade within 30 days to buy 9 seats if you start with 1 for extra hash? Right now, there's no promo for that. So like with TEXIT Coin, you buy 9, get 1 free. There's nothing to that effect right now for Iscander. Maybe those are some promos that we will put out there. But right now, the only thing we got is 27K, you get 10 free seats. 54K, you get 20. 81K, you get 50. 243, you get 150. So we'll find out very soon. But since we've only been selling 27K founder spots, we'll have to see. I don't think that we'll do any extra hash for the 9, but we'll find out. AJ says, assuming after 11 months you still owe 5K, can you pay off the rest with escrow coins at market price? Absolutely. We'll make a deal. Frank says, why wouldn't a miner do 25% on the stretch and do one of the locks versus paying it off faster with 100%? I don't know. Everybody's free to do with exactly what they want. So that is up to you. That is your choice. DB Cooper says, how do we do a coin or hash lock? We have mindtxt.com. That will be ISK. Blah, blah, blah. How do we do a coin / hash lock? Well, guys, nobody's going to get coins right, tomorrow because we don't have the wallets. We don't have everything done for that. So everybody's coins are going to be in escrow anyway. So we have some few days, we have some days here that if you're interested in doing these coin locks, these hash locks, you can send messages into all of us and we can, make those notes and make sure that we get that down for you. You can send those messages to me, Tim, Rob Reynolds. You can go through the support channels in your back office. Anybody sending me anything, it better be through Telegram because that's the easiest way for me to keep track of everything. When you're texting and everything else, it's a little bit more difficult for me. So as long as DB Cooper, as long as you're sending in a message to me on Telegram or something, like I can do all that for you. So that's not a problem. Lonnie says, I might have missed it, but if someone stretches in coin lock, then fails to pay in full or cancels to a lower amount, what happens to the extra coins or redistributed? No. They're not going to get redistributed to the miners. Ultimately, the company is paying for the hash power, installing the hash power, doing all that. So more than likely, the company keeps that. All right, guys, I'm out of questions. We've been over an hour here, so I think this was a good call. If you have any more questions, if if you guys need to, we've got a lot happening right now. We've been very busy here in the office and everything like that over the last 4 or 5 days. But this is very exciting times. Jerry says if someone does a 27 founder in cash and sponsors someone with 27 cash, any commission first week. Of course, there's always going to be that in the commissions. Edward says, great job. Thank you. Registration link. I'm going to put that out in Telegram, Kenny. I'm still waiting for somebody to send that to me, but I'm going to make some phone calls and see if I can get that on Telegram right now. Telegram, it'll be in the miners chat, the MTX regular miners chat. I'll drop it in there and Rangers chat because I know everybody looks at both if you are in the Rangers chat. So I will be dropping it in both. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on tomorrow.